at least be smart enough to focus on the tech, to focus on the things that are hard, not the easy things. Anybody could do the easy things. We know we're going to have to do the hard things eventually, so we might as well do them now. Sorry about not answering the question about veil walking. Yeah, I'm not going to answer anything about stealth veil walking other than not yet. You guys know my love for the concept of veil walking and veil stalking. I hope we can make it happen. Night Hero, about how many folks is CSA looking at for pre-alpha testing? So I can't give you an exact number, obviously, at this point. But the number of people who have alpha access to our game right now is around 9,000. So think about that. Go to our Kickstarter page. See how many backers we had then. And now look at, how many people have alpha access. That, more than anything else, is why we've got to be really careful and really smart about how we handle this. It really isn't any more complicated than that. We have a lot of people, and a lot of people who, want to access this game. So we've got to manage it properly. From Bowmancer, to name the alpha archetypes after the dev team to facilitate my submitting bug reports on how broken Andrew is. Yeah, that's pretty funny. No. Night Hero says, well, if we got access, then 10% would be actually testing. Yeah, I don't think so, actually. I think the number would be much higher than that if we schedule the convenient times. And that's what we have to, be smart about. I think the numbers will be much higher. Frankly, they're much higher when we call for a mandatory test in IT. They're not 100%. I wish they were, though 100 is impossible. But it's more than 10%. So we have to baseline that we will have more people hitting our alpha. So a question I've been asked before that really has nothing to do with alpha, but it's a fair question, and especially given our consideration of Europeans and other areas of the world. Is there any realistic chance for people outside the U.S. to get the job at CSE as a developer? And would you hire people with no game experience? Well, frankly, we've already hired people with no game experience. I did that at Mythic, and I'm doing it here as well. It is talent that interests us. It's personality as well that interests us. We're happy to take a chance on people, and some of the guys out there now, guys and gals out there now, have had no game experience. I mean, look at somebody like Michelle, the awesome concept artist, and Sandra, another awesome concept artist. How much game experience do they have? And look at the great job they've done. We've got programmers, new guys. Corey isn't new now, but he was at some point, and now we have Rob, who came in, also with no experience, and we have other developers, as well, who have no game experience, at least in terms of working for the game industry. So we'd be happy to do it. However, and here's the big but, we're talking Kim Kardashian here. Sorry, Tyler's cracking up.
I just lost it on
that. For those who know how these things work, that the U.S. has made it even more difficult over the last, since 9/11, and even more recently than that, made it even more difficult for a small studio like ours to bring in people from overseas. On the other hand, and I won't say anything too political about that, it's easier to cross illegally in some parts of this country than it is to hire some skilled people to come to work here. And, kind of not right. I would love to have people, from other countries come to work with us, as long as obviously, they can speak English well enough and to communicate with the team, because otherwise that would be bad. But it's not easy, and it's expensive, and it's time consuming. I've done that before, at Mythic, and, it's even harder for a studio like ours. So I do feel awful about it. I wish I didn't have to say no to something like that. Is the need for more staff going to rise as we get closer to launch? Oh yeah, absolutely. I could sit here and say, hey, we were really smart. We didn't hire additional artists and we saved the money. Yeah, but we kind of still need the art. So, it's going to take additional people to come in, and, we'll do what we need to do. We'll either hire them or contract out for what we need. So yes, we definitely need additional staff. Either that or Tyler will try to kill me. I think that there would be a very bad reaction if I told him that he and the whole art team had to get everything done.
The world will be a bunch of rocks and the same trees. That'll be it. That's all it'll be.
Yeah. And by the way, he got his first rock in a game. Yeah. I saw it today. We now have rocks. Do we already know what third-party companies we're going to outsource work to? No. We have some people we've talked to in the past, whether it's Mythic or other, but no, we don't have any decisions, made yet. Question about mudflation. Look, I've talked about it on multiple forum posts and multiple foundational principles, a whole bunch of interviews. Yeah, it's an issue. And of course, it's something, we are going to focus on. Bo Mather again asking about the community conning the community into developing art assets. I'd rather have sound. That'd be great. We could get additional sounds in the game. It'd be fun to get some things in that we might not have planned on. If there are art assets that could actually help us, we would certainly consider it. But keep in mind, I know if you're asking that question, I assume you understand the difficulty of something, like modeling and even doing animations. Though we have obviously an outstanding animator in Scott and an up-and-coming wonderful animator in Sandra as well.
And legal issues.
Question again about outsourcing or programmers or even artists not working at home, or not working, sorry, in the U.S., but working at home. Obviously, for the people who know Charles and know Sasha, we are able to do that with them. It would be a lot harder to do with a programmer, especially given that one of the advantages of working here is that you get to work with Andrew and learn from his brilliant mind. Still waiting for more questions. Nice one, Cyclodia. Oh, you're only talking about the community manager? Yeah, that could be, different. I assume you mean talking about the community manager for a non-English speaking community, because obviously we have a, wonderful community manager in Genesee. Question about crafting an alpha? Not likely. Certainly not in the pre-alpha testing. That is not something we are focusing on right now. We are focusing, just as I've said in other, presentations, and also earlier today, we're focusing on still core tech, on combat. That we have to get first. It's not that we're ignoring, or will be ignoring crafting or building. We're not at all. But our, short term, our focus still needs to be on those sorts of combat things, because that's kind of important. Are we going to see any class concepts during Alpha? Oh, absolutely. Concepts? Absolutely. That's one of the things that Ben and I are already talking about. Oh, the new sign. Hey, could somebody go grab the city-state sign, please? So, good one. Thanks for reminding me. We're going to show it off right now. Why not? I was going to do a separate presentation on it, but hey, this is a good time to do it. So as soon as it comes in, I'll talk about it. Is the game graphics engine in-house? Yeah, absolutely. We're doing it all in-house, other than when we're working, for example, with some of NVIDIA's libraries. But the core engine is all here. Hey, we got the sign. Come on over, Max.
I saw the sign.
Check this out. This sign was made by one of our backers. It was made by a gentleman who we'll talk about more when I do a full. But this is what he did. He was a Dark Age of Camelot guy, and now he's also a friend of Andrew's, and he's a Camelot Unchained guy. So this is awesome, isn't it? He made it all by hand. We are going to have it up on our wall as soon as they finish construction and painting, because we don't want anything to happen to this wonderful piece. And so I'm going to tell you more about it in another presentation. But yeah, there's the sign. Awesome. And as I said to the gentleman who made it, when I saw it at actually Andrew's birthday party, cool, awesome, outstanding work. And so we can't wait to put it up. I just don't want to take any chance putting it up now because something bad could happen to it. And we don't want anything that bad to happen to it. Still waiting. Res is not currently in alpha other than a simple respawning. Why am I speaking standing versus sitting?
So you stay awake? So you stay awake?
Well, one is how I said stay awake. It's been, a long month. But more importantly, I just like my energy better when I stand. When I was sitting today, I think, frankly, I didn't do as good of a job presenting the things that are going on in alpha as I should have been. So I should have known better. I was tired. It had been a very long few days for me.